That's exactly. Don't know what happens. Snerdley's asking a bunch of questions I can't answer. I don't know what happens if let's see, you're from the Acme small business, and your primary customer is the Coyote, and the Coyote has had a bunch of trouble catching the Roadrunner, and none of what you have sent the Coyote's working. Everything from Acme fails. You ever watch the Roadrunner? So you're having trouble making ends meet at Acme, and here comes the IRS, and they knock on your door. Hi, we're here. We see that you don't have health insurance, and we're here to help you get it. What is your reaction going to be? And then what happens, here's Snerdley's question, what happens if you don't buy it? What if the IRS comes in and you don't like the menu of services being offered by the IRS, and if you say, I'm sorry, I appreciate your concern, I really don't need or don't want health insurance, what happens to you then? Well, what happens is you are going to be fined. You will pay a fine. And early on in Obamacare, the fine is not very much money. It's much less than what a policy would cost you. And if I may be bluntly honest, that is by design too, folks. The fine is seductively low in cost. Anybody who is young or has a small business would choose, if it's legal, to pay the fine instead of buying health insurance. You would not do that. I don't think most people will tell the IRS agent, take your health insurance assistant here and shove it. I don't think that's going to happen, Snerdley. That's why it's the IRS that has been hired to help citizens get their health insurance. I don't think that citizens are going to tell the IRS to pound sand here. What instead will happen is the IRS will present all of the wonderful options available. And here's the cost of your average policy, and here's the cost of the fine. Well, the fine is going to be so much cheaper at first than the health insurance policy, and if it's legal to pay the fine and the IRS will wave goodbye and leave, you'll do that. That's by design, folks. Now, the way it's by design, the fine purposely priced much lower for the first 2 or 3 years. Now, what happens when all of these people choose the fine instead of the policy? Well, who is hurt then? Insurance companies. Now, remember, the insurance companies were among the early adopters for Obamacare because of the mandate. Requiring people to buy health insurance, that was a godsend. That made most insurance companies forget Republican versus Democrat, liberal versus conservative, and all they saw and applauded was a powerful force like the government making everybody buy their product. My ship has come in and I'm at the dock. If you're an insurance company, this is the greatest day of your life. The federal government, in association with the IRS, making everybody buy health insurance. Whoa! If you sold Happy Meals, wouldn't you love it if every American had to buy a Happy Meal? Wouldn't you support that if you're McDonald's? If you were General Motors and an order came that everybody has to have a Volt, would you care if it was Joseph Stalin who issued the order? No. You'd sit there and go, right on. So the insurance companies, folks, didn't care. They forgot whether they were Republicans or Democrats, liberal, conservative. They didn't even think about the future of the country. They just saw, man, everybody hates us. We're insurance companies, but now doesn't matter. They've been ordered to buy our product. Yes, they have. But guess what? The insurance companies weren't told. There's an opt-out. A much cheaper opt-out. You pay a fine. So all of these 30 million, whatever the number is uninsured, pay the fine instead of buy the policy. What happens to the industry of private health insurance? Just like the Coyote falling off the cliff trying to catch the Roadrunner using an Acme product, bam! The insurance company ceases to exist. And then, after 3 years, folks, the fines all of a sudden become more expensive than the policy. Doesn't take long. This is all in Obamacare. This is in the plan. After 3 years, 4 years, it doesn't take long. The fines end up costing much more than the policy, which means you will then, as a matter of economics, buy the policy. Because you have to now, remember, the mandate. But now, where do you go? Because the private health insurance industry has been dealt a potentially fatal blow. It doesn't exist because all these people could opt out and pay the fine instead. And so the real objective is finally realized. The only place you can go when you have to, by law, have health insurance is a state-run exchange, like an office at your county building where the DMV is or whatever it's going to be, where you go in there, you buy your health insurance. It's going to be the only place you can go. And if you don't, after all this, if you don't, then someday soon, knock on the door and you look through the peephole and it's the IRS. There to help you get your health insurance and to tell you about all the tax breaks. Yes.